Hello, and welcome to another video in the Scriptcase Macros course. Today we're looking at the connection edit macros, and in this course we're going through all the macros and showing you how to use them. My name is Nate Carpenter, and I'm the Scriptcase instructor leading this. So our first macro here is the SE edit connection, and it dynamically edits the details of a connection. So all the various settings, we can edit those using this macro. And then our second macro undoes that. So it's the reset connection edit. So it just resets any edits done by the SE connection edit macro. So those are the two macros. Let's go over to our documentation and look at these. So this is the Scriptcase documentation here, a list of all the macros. And if we scroll down here, we can find our SE connection edit right here. So I click on that and it gives us the documentation for that. So we give it the connection name that we're editing and then an array of settings. And those are going to be our new settings that we're changing. So as you can see, here are all the settings that we can edit here. So all of these, and we're going to look at how to edit some of these. And then it's not required to use all of them, as you can see here, so just the ones you want. And in this example, we just edit 3, the username, password, database. And here's the scope. This is where we can execute this macro inside of our Scriptcase applications. So let's go over to Scriptcase now and get this set up. So I have a grid here. And this is what's going to show us if we've edited our connection. So this is a grid that points at a table. And this table exists in 2 databases that we're going to change to. So if we click here on Edit Connection, we can view these 2 databases. So we have Films and Films 2. Click on one of these. These are all the settings here that you saw over in the documentation. These are our settings that we can edit dynamically and will edit. So let's go back here to Home. And I've got an application set up, Edit Connection, that I've set up for this purpose. So here we just have some fields which line up to those settings that we have. If I click the username field here, I have it set up as a password field, and same for the password field. So that's just to add an extra layer of security, kind of redact those from the UI. So let's go ahead and run this and see what it looks like. There's no code added to this. It's just a basic control application here. So as you can see, just some form fields where you can enter in these settings. Now we need to add the code on the back end to take these new settings and edit them in the connection. So let's go over to events now. And we're going to go to the onValidate success event. So this is after all the fields have been validated. And let's go ahead and copy our example from the documentation here. This is pretty close to what we want. So let me copy that and paste it over in my Scriptcase application here. So we've got our username, we've got a password in our database. Let's go ahead and put the field values that the user enters in. So first, we need to make sure we have a setting for each field. So we have our server field, our username field, and then our database field. Out of our server field, we're going to put in our server value. So that's what the user entered. It's in the curly braces, so it's going to pull out what the user entered. Do the same for the username, password then. So let me make sure the username is all cleaned up there. Password, so the password that the user enters. And that will be redacted on screen, but will be plain text in this example. And then the database right here. So that's the database name. And then we need to tell it which connection we're going to edit. So we're going to edit the films connection here. So let me put that in. So that's the name of the connection. And we can point it then to a different database. Point it to our Films 2 database with this. So this should run. Let's go ahead and run this. Okay, so that works. Now we just need to see how this works. So we need to redirect to our grid application so that we can show if it actually worked or not. So we've got this grid actor here, and we just need to use another Scriptcase macro called scredir, which is going to redirect our application. So there's another video on this macro, but for now it just redirects to another application. Very basic. So let me just redirect there to our grid actor application, right like so. Then this should be ready to run. So let me run this, and now we can edit our connection and see if it worked. So wait for it to load here. Enter in our server. I'm just going to use the localhost. So I enter in the settings for that. Then I enter in my username. And that is, of course, redacted as a password field. And the same for the password field. And then the name of the database is going to be Films 2. So we should see different data this time when we go to our grid application, which is going to redirect to. And there it is. So now we have different data. We only have one record as opposed to the many records that we saw before. And that is all set up and ready to go. So now we just need to build out the logic to reset this connection. So that's using our second macro to reset it. And we're going to do that with a button. So we're going to add a button right here. It's going to be a PHP button. And we're just going to name it reset, like so. Click create on that button. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. And now we have some PHP code that we can enter in. So let's go ahead and find our reset edit connection macro. Find it here on this list. So there's a connection edit and then reset connection edit a little bit down here. So I'll click on that. And this is very simple. Just one line. There's a scope of where we can edit it. So just one line, put that into our Scriptcase application, and it will reset any changes done by the connection edit. So I click that and put it right there. That's all we need to do for that button. And then we can run this, and it will reset our connection edit. And we could optionally display some messaging on this too. So we click reset, and we could put some messaging here. For now, it's just an OK button. Everything is being reset, and now we're back to the default settings for our Scriptcase database connection. So that's how you edit a connection and then undo an edit of a connection using Scriptcase Macros. So I hope you'll continue watching the videos in this course to see how Scriptcase Macros can help you in your own development.